Tonight, you're going to stop trying to make someone love you, choose you, or think about you. You're going to discover why everyone in your life is yourself pushed out, which means the way someone shows up toward you is not caused by what you do to them, but by the position you are standing in before you ever speak. And when you truly understand that, you'll never feel powerless in love again. My name is Michael. I wrote this meditation for everyone who's ever felt stuck waiting for someone to change, to notice them, to finally choose them. First, I'm going to discuss a key principle from Neville's lecture, Imagining Creates Reality. Then we'll move into the actual meditation. If you want to skip ahead and meet me there, use the timestamp below. However, this will be much more powerful if you stay with me for the next few minutes. What I'm about to share will change how you see every relationship in your life. So let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to make someone love you? Have you ever obsessed about the perfect text, the perfect thing, the perfect outfit, hoping it would finally make them see you differently? Have you ever analyzed their every word, their every action, trying to figure out what you need to do to make them want you? If you have, you're not alone. And tonight, I'm going to tell you why it never works. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what does. In his lecture, Imagining Creates Reality, Neville Goddard says something that most people completely miss when it comes to love. He says, when you imagine, you may, and chances are you will, influence others. But do not think in terms of influence. Think only in terms of clarity of form. Do not think in terms of influence. Let me say that again. Do not think in terms of influence. And then he goes even further. He says, everyone is yourself, pushed out. You're only influencing yourself. Everyone is yourself, pushed out. That person you're trying to make love you, they are yourself, pushed out, which means they are not the cause of your pain. They are not the cause of your loneliness. They are not the cause of your feeling unwanted or unchosen. You are, because they are only reflecting back to you the state you are occupying, not your words, not your strategy, not your effort, but your position. Now, I know that sounds harsh, but stay with me, because once you truly understand this, everything changes. See, most people, when they want someone to love them, they focus all their energy on that person. They think about them constantly. They try to figure out what that person is thinking, what that person is feeling, what that person wants. They try to influence them. They try to make them see how perfect they are together. They try to convince them, seduce them, manipulate them, even pray for them to change. And Neville says, the moment you think in terms of influence, you reduce a miracle to magic. You take the most powerful creative force in the universe and you pervert it, because you're not creating. You're trying to control, and the law doesn't respond to control. It responds to assumption, to where you are standing within yourself before anything happens. So here's what Neville teaches instead. Forget the person. Forget trying to influence them. Forget trying to make them love you. Instead, build clarity of form. What does that mean? It means this. If you want to be loved by someone, you don't imagine them falling in love with you. You don't try to plant thoughts in their mind. You don't visualize them texting you or calling you or choosing you. Instead, you imagine the end. You imagine the scene that would imply you are already loved. Maybe you're at a celebration and someone is toasting your relationship. Maybe you're having a quiet moment together and you feel completely secure, completely chosen, completely loved. Maybe it's just the feeling of waking up next to someone who adores you. Whatever scene implies the end, you build that. You make it clear. You make it vivid, and then you enter it. You don't observe it. You enter it not as fantasy, but as the position you are choosing to stand in. You live in it, and here's what happens. When you occupy the state of being loved, when you faithfully dwell in that assumption, the person responds, not because you influenced them, but because they are yourself pushed out. They have no choice but to reflect the state you are in. Let me give you an example from Neville's own life. He wanted to get out of Barbados. There were only 2 ships, thousands of people waiting, no way to get passage, and Neville didn't go around trying to influence the person with the tickets. He didn't try to convince them to choose him. He didn't beg or manipulate or scheme. He simply imagined himself walking up the gangplank, clarity of form, and someone 2,000 miles away canceled their passage, and the person distributing tickets chose him over hundreds of others who were ahead of him on the list. Did Neville influence them? Yes, but he didn't think in terms of influence. He thought in terms of clarity of form, and the law did the rest. Now, let me tell you why this is so important when it comes to love. When you're trying to make someone love you, you are standing in the state of not being loved. You are occupying the state of lack, of wanting, of needing them to change. And that state, that position, is what they are responding to. Not your words, not your actions, not how perfect you are for them, your state. And if your state is, I am not loved, they will reflect that back to you. They will pull away, they will be distant, they will choose someone else. Not because they don't see how amazing you are, but because they are yourself pushed out, and you are pushing out the state of not being loved. But the moment you stop trying to make them love you, the moment you stop thinking in terms of influence, and instead you occupy the state of being loved, everything changes. They change, not because you made them, but because they are reflecting the new state you are in. Now, Neville says something else in this lecture that I think is critical. He says, all the people in the world are only yourself pushed out. No one has the power to hold you back or promote you. You are self-promoted or self-restricted. You are self-promoted or self-restricted, which means that person you think is withholding love from you. They're not. You are withholding it from yourself by occupying the state of not being loved, by standing in the position of lack, by thinking you need them to change before you can feel loved. But here's the beautiful thing. The moment you change your state, they change. The moment you occupy the feeling of being loved, they must respond. Because they are yourself pushed out. They are not independent actors with free will that can override your assumption. They are reflections, shadows, and shadows always follow the light, and the light is your consciousness, your state, your assumption. So tonight, we're going to stop trying to make anyone love us. We're going to stop thinking in terms of influence, and we're going to build clarity of form. We're going to occupy the state of being loved, not hoping to be loved, not trying to be loved, being loved. And we're going to do it so completely, so naturally, so effortlessly that it becomes who we are. And when that happens, everyone around us, especially that person we've been focused on, will have no choice but to respond, because they are ourselves pushed out, and what we push out is determined by the state we occupy. So let's occupy a new state right now. Sit comfortably wherever you are right now. Let your body settle into a position where you can remain still for the next while. You might be sitting upright or lying down. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're comfortable, that you can let go. Close your eyes if you haven't already, and bring your awareness gently to your breath, not changing it, just noticing it. The natural rhythm of breathing in and breathing out, the rise and fall of your chest, the air moving through your nostrils, just breathing natural, easy, simple. And with each exhale, let your body become a little heavier, a little more relaxed. Your shoulders dropping away from your ears, your jaw softening, any tension in your face, just letting it melt away, your hands resting, palms open or closed, whatever feels natural, your legs heavy and still, and as you breathe, you're beginning to sink down into the surface beneath you, like you're being held by something soft and supportive. And there's nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to do, just this, just breathing, just relaxing, just being here. Now with each breath you're moving deeper, deeper into relaxation, deeper into stillness, deeper into that beautiful space between waking and sleeping, that state akin to sleep, where your body is so relaxed it almost doesn't exist, and your mind is calm, quiet, receptive, This is the state where creation happens. This is where you build your reality, not out there in the world, but here, in this deep, peaceful place within you, breathing in and breathing out, sinking deeper and deeper still. Your eyelids so heavy now, if you tried to open them, you'd find them impossible to lift. But you don't want to open them. You want to stay here, in this deep, drowsy, peaceful state. And as you rest here, I want to ask you something. Who have you been trying to influence? Who have you been trying to make love you, choose you, notice you, bring them to mind for just a moment, not to focus on them, but to acknowledge what you've been doing. You've been trying to change them. You've been trying to make them see you differently. You've been standing in the state of not being loved, hoping they would rescue you from it. And that's okay, because right now, we're going to stop. Right now, we're going to shift from trying to influence them to occupying a new state, the state of being loved. So let that person fade from your mind. We're not focusing on them anymore. We're not trying to plant thoughts in their head. We're not trying to make them do anything. Instead, we're going to build clarity of form. And here's what that means. If you were already loved by this person, if they had already chosen you, if you were already in the relationship you desire, what would that look like? Not the process of getting there. The end. What scene would imply it's already done? Maybe you're having a quiet moment together. Maybe someone is congratulating you both. Maybe you're simply feeling the warmth of being chosen, being held, being seen. Whatever scene comes to you, let it form now. Make it clear. Make it simple. And then enter it. Don't watch it like a movie. Enter it. Be in it. What would you see if you were in that scene right now? What would you hear? What would you feel in your body, in your heart? Make it sensory. Make it real. And as you do this, know that you are not trying to make them do anything. You are simply occupying a state, the state of being loved. And when you occupy that state, they must respond. Not because you're controlling them, but because they are yourself pushed out. From Neville's lecture, these words: everyone is yourself pushed out. You're only influencing yourself. So right now, you're not influencing them. You're influencing yourself. You're occupying a new state, and they will reflect that state back to you automatically, perfectly, inevitably. So rest here now, in this scene, in this state, in this feeling of being loved. Let your body sink even deeper, so relaxed, so still, so at peace. And as you sink, let me count you down from 10 to 1. And with each number, you'll move deeper into this state, deeper into the feeling of being loved, deeper into the end, 10. Letting go of the need to control. 9. Letting go of the need to influence. 8. Your body dissolving into the state. 7. Nothing but consciousness now. 6. Pure imagination. 5. Halfway there, halfway home. 4. Deeper still, being loved. 3. Chosen, held, secure. 2. It's already done. 1. You are loved now, and here, in this deep place, there is no trying, there is no effort, there is only being in the state, being loved, being chosen, being held. And as you rest here, notice something. The mind is no longer reaching for them, no longer wondering what they're thinking, no longer trying to figure out how to make them love you. It is simply here, resting in the state of being loved, the way it would be if there were nothing left to wait for, and there isn't. Because you're not waiting, you're being, you're in the state. Let the breath continue on its own. Feel the stillness that settles when there is nothing left to do. Your body resting because it is finally allowed to. And if a thought comes about them, about whether they're thinking of you, about what they're doing, just let it drift through. Don't follow it. Don't engage it. Just notice it and let it pass, because you're not focused on them anymore. You're focused on the state of being loved. And when you occupy that state faithfully, they must respond, because they are yourself pushed out. From Neville's lecture, these words: do not think in terms of influence. Think only in terms of clarity of form. So right now, you have clarity of form. You're in the scene, you're experiencing it, you're living it, and the law takes care of the rest. They will play their part, not because you made them, but because that's what the law does. It reflects your state, and your state is being loved. So rest in that knowing. You don't need to make anything happen. You don't need to influence anyone. You just need to stay here, in the state, in the feeling, in the end. Now let yourself drift even deeper, so relaxed you can barely feel your body, your mind so still it's like a calm lake. And in this stillness, let the scene you built become more vivid, more real, more natural. What are you seeing right now? What are you hearing? What does it feel like to be loved? To be chosen, to be held? Let it fill you completely, not as something you're creating, but as something that is. Present tense, I am loved, not I will be loved, not I hope to be loved. I am loved right now, in this moment. This is the state. This is the reality. And as you occupy it, they are responding right now, even if you can't see it yet, even if nothing has changed in the physical world. They are responding because they are yourself pushed out, and you have changed the state you are pushing out. So rest here for as long as you need, dwelling in this state, being loved, being chosen, being held, and if you drift into sleep, let yourself drift, because the state will stay with you. It will accompany you into sleep, and when you wake, you'll still be in it, not because you're trying to hold on to it, but because it's become natural, ordinary, who you are. Now, I want you to loop your scene gently, experience it once, then experience it again, not with effort, just gently returning to it, like a lullaby, like waves on a shore. Each time you experience it, you're deepening the state. You're making it more familiar, more real, more solid. And each time you do it, remember, you're not trying to make them love you. You're occupying the state of being loved, and they will reflect that state, because they are yourself pushed out. From Neville's lecture, these words: all the people in the world are only yourself pushed out. No one has the power to hold you back or promote you. You are self-promoted or self-restricted. So right now, you are self-promoting. You are lifting yourself into the state of being loved, and they have no power to hold you back, because they are not the cause. You are the cause, and you are choosing love. You are choosing to be loved. You are choosing to occupy that state, and the law must reflect it. So stay here now, looping your scene, occupying your state, being loved, and as you do, let these final words settle into you. You don't need them to change. You don't need them to see you differently. You don't need them to choose you, because the moment you occupy the state of being loved, they already have, not in the future, now, in the only reality that matters, the reality of your consciousness. And what is real in your consciousness must eventually become real in your world, not because you forced it, but because that's the law. Imagining creates reality, and you are imagining being loved right now, in this moment. So rest, beloved. Rest in the state. Rest in the feeling. Rest in the knowing that you are loved, not because they decided to love you, but because you decided to be loved, and they are yourself pushed out, so they have no choice but to reflect what you are, and what you are right now in this state is loved, completely, totally, perfectly. Just rest now. Rest.
I think most of you know that I firmly believe that imagining creates reality. I personally have proved it, and I think the majority of you have. If someone now complains, having confessed that they believe it, that what they originally imagined is not as good and as wonderful as they are now experiencing, then ask, why are you now remembering and not imagining? If I can say I remember when, then I am not now imagining that. So am I really putting this into practice? I can say, well, all right, I believe it, but I once imagined something, And it's not as I am now experiencing in my life. Just simply say, you really believe that imagining creates reality. And your original imagining state was, just say yes, then what on earth are you doing when you say, I once imagined it? Then they are not now imagining. God's name is I am. Men find it so difficult to keep this in the present tense. It's always outside of self. Now, when you imagine, may I tell you, you may, and chances are you will, influence others. But do not think in terms of influence. Think only in terms of clarity of form. For instance, someone will say to you, I want a better position. I want more money. I want greater responsibility. All right? Now you conceive a scene and give all your effort to clarifying form, just form, like drawing a picture. So you conceive the scene. It could be that you're giving the party, or they are giving the party. And then you will raise your glass, or they will raise it, and toast the occasion. A better job, more money. Don't think in terms of influencing some superior on the job, like the one you will call, say, a boss. Forget him. He could drop dead tonight. He could be discharged tonight. Don't think in terms of anyone outside of the clarity of form. What would imply that you have it? Well, if I gave a party tonight for you who got it, or you gave the party and invited me and I am your guest, and then we sat around the table and came that occasion to raise a glass in toast. So you will toast the event, and I will raise mine and drink with you. Well, now that is not influencing or thinking of influencing anyone in this world. We're going to the end. So if you're going to apply this law, it's only dealing with form. You go to the end. Then what form, what structure would imply that you have it? And forget anyone in this world that you may influence. So I'm not going to deny that every imaginal act influences, but you don't have to put any interest on influencing anyone in this world. Leave them alone. Leave everyone alone. They are not really called. You are called. Your imaginal act is the cause. So what do you want in this world? Forget everyone else. You may have someone employing you that may have $1 billion, a private fund, like Hughes, like the Rockefellers, like that crowd. They have it, but they are not causing anything in your world. They could all drop dead tonight, did you know? And vanish from this world and leave not a trace behind. The present generation of the Rockefellers know nothing of their great-grandfather who made it. They must be told by the present, who are simply grandsons of that fortune. And they will tell them, and they wisely modify it, and others will modify it. But who knows of the original one, who really went out and checked everything, the figures? And so he is gone. So you will influence people, no question about it. Because why? Everything in this world is yourself pushed out. You're only influencing yourself. But don't think in terms of anyone on the outside of self. What do you want? When you know exactly what you want, then put all your attention on clarity of form. So I would have a little dinner party, and I'd have the whole thing set up just right. Then what after that? am I imagining? So to confess or to complain that I once imagined, and my original imaginal act was far greater than this, is to confess that I am not now imagining. If imagining creates reality, then forget the memory picture. What am I imagining? So this is a part of this fantastic mystery that we are trying to get over here. Now let me share with you a few that came this week. Here are the series. This one, she finds herself, it's all in 1 week. The series of dreams all in 1 week. And here I am in my dream with a bunch of children, and they have lost something. I am trying to find it for them. I am looking. Then as I'm looking for something they have lost, I find a little bag with a drawstring. I pick it up. I open the bag to find a watch. And the children tell me, that is a treasure. You have found a treasure. And that's the end of that. Then I find myself the next night in this state. All the things I want, and they are all on wheels. People, places, and things, all on wheels. And I'm on a wheel. It's all moving. I'm saying to myself and complaining, this is not what I want. All these things are moving on wheels, and I am still with a sense of longing. And then I wait. Remember, this is the sequence, all in a week. First a watch, then everything, and she is dissatisfied. She's not satisfied with all these things. They're all on wheels, all my desires. And with that feeling in her throat, it's still a longing. Then comes the third, she said. Now in the stream, I find myself following an enormous crowd. I am walking up pathways, walking down stairways, walking up stairways, because you are giving lectures in all these places. I am thrilled as I stop to hear, and I hear it over and over. And every time I hear it, I am thrilled with the revelation of what you're giving me. But one thing impressed me. We came to a place in the beautiful campus, lovely kept grounds, all the lawns, the roadways, and all the buildings, ivy climbing up and covering all the buildings. I came into this building, and here you are giving the most marvelous thing. I was thrilled, one after the other, as you said what you did. And I said to myself, I must remember this. And I made a mental effort to remember what you were saying, because one explosion after the other of the great truth. And I woke, and I could not recall one, could not bring one back to memory. Then the next night, again I'm in a dream, and I'm following you. I go to a place, it's a huge, enormous, expensive white house. And I know that you are lecturing there, so I go in. All the rooms are empty, save where you are. And then the adjacent room, where my father is. I know that my father built this house. He built this house. Don't forget that aspect of the dream. The father is unseen. He is in the adjacent room. This time I am addressing all my remarks to the dreamer. And as I speak to her, I am telling her things that cause her to explode with joy, but she can't remember them, save one. I turn to her and I say with a profound authority, my name is Friday. She knows it has tremendous significance. Then she said to me, yes, and that means, oh, my darling. Then I smiled and nodded affirmatively. Then she said, I woke. But the things that preceded that, I do not recall. I do know what you said when you said, my name is Friday, had tremendous significance. Now, Neville, this seems to me the most insane nonsense. And yet, as I write it, I know in the depths of my soul that this has a profound significance. I heard something of tremendous importance, and yet on the surface, it seems just simply the essence of nonsense. Well, may I tell you, you heard and saw correctly. I told you when I told you that my name is Friday. I told you that I am the God of love. That's what I told you. When you write mythology, it's not altogether vision, it's part vision. So they call it the goddess of love. But when you stand in the presence of God, who is love, it's man. So I told you my name is Friday. He who is united with the Lord becomes one spirit with him, as we are told in the 6th chapter of 1 Corinthians, verse 17. I stood in the presence of the risen Lord, who is the embodiment of love. He incorporated me into his body, and I am forever one with that body. There's only one body, only one Spirit, only one Lord, only one God and Father of us all. Ephesians 4:4. Whoever is incorporated into that one body is one with it. So when you say to me, and I nodded, it means, oh my darling. Well, may I tell you, that word is used only 10 or 12 times in Scripture. Never translated as darling, but defined as darling. It's yachai. If you do not know Hebrew, and can look it up in Hebrew in your concordance, if you have Strong's Concordance, it is 3173. You will find it defined as my darling. You will find it defined as my only one, my son, my only son. That's how you'll find the word defined. Well, anyone who is incorporated into that body is that word translated, oh my darling. So you knew it in the depths of your soul when you heard me say Friday. Or Friday is simply the God of love. That's what it means. So when you're incorporated into that body, that's what you are. So may I tell you, you heard it perfectly. And what you did not bring back to this world in your conscious, rational mind, you still have in the depths of your soul. So all the instruction that you heard in that past week, where you heard it and you were thrilled and your heart burst with excitement because you heard it, every word was true. This word, Yahweh, first appears in the 22nd chapter of Genesis, verse 16. The Lord said to Abraham, because you did not withhold your son, your only son, from him, The word son and only son is Yahyai. He is speaking now of Isaac, the promised child. In the Gospel of John, the 19th chapter, he quotes from the 12th chapter of Zechariah. And this is the quote. This is after the crucifixion. After everything has taken place, the resurrection has taken place. And these are the words. Having first told them, not one bone shall be broken from his body. Verse 36. Then quotes his passage from Zechariah. They shall look upon him whom they have pierced. Verse 37. But he doesn't complete it. If you read the 12th chapter, the 10th verse of Zechariah, and complete the verse, then you'll read the words, and they shall mourn for him as one who mourns for an only child. The word only child is Yahyai, the same word which means, oh, my darling. So everyone is going to experience it. And when he experiences it, he is going to tell it, and tell everyone who will listen to it. Some will believe it, and some will not believe it. Those who believe it will, in the depths of their soul, encounter him, teaching, 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 night after night in multiple places. You'll go from place to place teaching, and you will hear it. If you don't bring it through to the conscious reasoning mind, it doesn't really matter. You've heard it. What you brought through, at least the name I told you, and you brought through, he told me his name was Friday. And Friday simply means the God of love. That's all that it means. Because the word Yachi means unity. That's the first definition given the word. It means soul. Not soul, but soul in the sense unique, the only one. Because everyone incorporated into that one body is the only one. There's only one body, one spirit, only one Lord, only one God and Father of all. But it takes all of us as eternal brothers to form that body. So when you get into that body, you are one with that body forever and forever. And you are Friday. You are the God of life. On this level, no one sees it. They can't see it. But she saw it in spirit and had the experience and brought it back. She could not bring back the instruction, all that she heard. That's all right. She has it anyway, because she heard it and she was fired night after night with the instruction, all that she heard. She saw this man rushing towards her, eagerly rushing towards her. And then he said, and I began to instruct her, and she eavesdropped, she listened. In her letter to me, I listened in, and I knew he loved you beyond measure. I could tell from his expression, all that he acted, how he loved you. What you said to him was so explosive and so thrilling as I listened to all the instructions you gave to him. But in the White House of my Father, you directed all of your instructions to me. See the symbolism? The Father was unseen, and in this enormous, expansive White House, they were all unoccupied, save the two rooms. One the Father occupied. He was standing in the one room, and only one door led into the two rooms. So in the other room, where I was instructing, I directed all of my attention to her and told her of this profound mystery of being. Everything was directed to her. But she knew her father had built this house. It was his house. Well, a dream is egocentric. The whole thing is taking place in her. The whole vast dream unfolds in a man. But all of us are contained in each other. So I, at that moment, represented her father, instructing on the outside. For the whole thing is in man. Every dream is egocentric. So here, the father is unseen. He projects himself into the seen being, teaching and instructing. All of these thoughts are directed towards her. In that moment, I only revealed my name. Well, the name was enough. I am telling her who her father really is. Her father is the God of love. That's what I'm telling her. I was only used from the depths of her own soul to explain what she heard. For believe it, all dreams are egocentric. So, the source of all dreams is God. And God is in man, and God is man. God is our own wonderful Father. But he is out of sight, presented now in the form of the one that she trusts as a teacher. And I am used to explain to her what happened. But it happened all in 1 week. Night after night, these things are coming. But to come back to his devil, may I tell you, imagining creates reality. You can start on this level. The first words given to us by the one who reveals it, who comes to reveal, is simply repent and believe in the story, believe in the gospel, the story of salvation. Mark 1:15. For only repentance, which is a radical change of attitude, could simply take this powerful imagination and burst it through this world of death. This is the world of death. So I ask everyone to simply take it literally. And day after day after day, simply test it. Test it. Another one came from a gentleman who was only here for the past few weeks, being transferred from San Francisco. And the one, but he gave me 2, he gave me 4. The first 2, prior to coming here, they are something almost preparatory. They're prepared for the coming, the snakes and so on. But in the coming here, he found himself right after he heard this, taking his hand from the top of his head and peeling his entire head and bringing all of the skin down to his neck. Here he is peeling the entire head. After he has peeled the entire head, then he puts it back up again like a bag over his head. He knows that he should not see anything from the outside. Yet in some strange way, from the inside, he is generating light so he can see the outside. But he knows the outside is completely dark. But now he is generating light from within. May I tell you, all that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. Blake, Jerusalem, plate 71. So when you came here on time. Nothing happened but on time. You took off, being prepared, all the outer beliefs, or you are taking them off, but putting them back in a different manner. And then light comes from within, and you will see from within, and then begin to govern your work from within. that nothing is from without. What is coming from without is being brought from the activity taking place from within. Then he said, I've only heard you twice. It is better. And I went to my friends, having missed you on a Monday night. I was tired, and she put on your tape for me. I thought, well, I'll close my eyes and simply listen. So I listened to what you were saying. I must have fallen into a light sleep. And in the light sleep, I felt the most terrific blow on the right side of my head. 2 blows. And I either had the impression or I saw the index finger extended and pointing. Now it's 2 days later, and may I tell you, I'm still feeling the pain of the blow on my head. And may I tell you, good for you. It comes this way. Don't let any doctor tell you that you had a migraine or this, that, or the other. Forget it. This is how it happened. You peeled your entire head and took off the outer skin, the Esau, and you put it back on, because in this world you got to wear it. But now you're going to see it different, and you will see the world from within. And may I tell you now, though you've only been here just a little while, forget the little while. Those who come at the 11th hour get the same thing as those who came at the first hour. Matthew 29. Is it not mine to give, said he? So you are complaining. He comes at the 11th hour, and you give him just as much as you give those who came in at the first hour. So everyone gets the same thing. These blows are essential. They are actually essential. Doctors will not understand it. No one will understand it. But they are essential to the awakening from within us. For there is one who is sleeping within us. That wonderful hymn of Isaac Watts, when he speaks of wrapped within the silence of the tomb, the great Redeemer sleeps. Then he tells us how hell and death combine their forces to hold our Lord in this manner. But the great conqueror arose and burst the little fragile chain. He sleeps within us, and he is your own wonderful human imagination. That is God. When he awakes, you are God. There is nothing but God in this world. And you've been put into the test right here. So my friend who wrote this wonderful letter, giving a series of these visions, really saw it perfectly. I will tell her mother, who is here tonight, you tell her when you go home, she hasn't lost a thing. Not a thing. It was all told her when she came from place to place. For I was only used by her. The dream is egocentric. Her father, that she thinks of as her earthly father, who built the White House, is only a symbol of the eternal Father that she is seeking. And I, the present teacher in this world, again, it's only a symbol of the instruction. So I was used from the depths of her own soul to reveal to herself all that she already knows. Well, she knows it. She didn't encounter this called Neville. She simply is awakening to her own being. All this is herself. For in the end, we are one. There's only a brotherhood, an eternal brotherhood, and a fatherhood, because each is the father of the same child. How else could I know that you and I are one, were it not that this symbol is set up in eternity? And when you become the father of the child that I know I am the father of, then you and I are one. There is no other way of proving the unity, this eternal brotherhood, without the common fatherhood of all of us. If you had one son and I had another, then we could complain. I want more for my son than you want for yours. But no, there's one son. And we so love that one son, we all want to give that one son everything. That is the story. So that we are all one. But it can only be as we come one by one, and we are gathered one by one into one body, into one spirit, into one Lord, into one God and Father of all. That's the story. So tonight, do not think of influencing your boss. Do not think of influencing anyone in this world. Think only of clarity of form. That's all you do. The creative imagination is concerned only in perfecting form. Now, when I perfect form, I am going to influence others, no question about it. Every time that I have done something that is marvelous, others worked to bring it to pass. So I influenced them. But I didn't think in terms of others. I thought only in clarity of form. When I wanted to get out of Barbados, when there were no ships, only 2 little ships and thousands trying to get out, I didn't think of influencing anyone. I asked my brother, who apparently had an influence. He had none. No one had influence. I simply walked up the gangplank. Clarity of form. If this is true, if I am walking up this gangplank, then it implies that I am sailing. Well, if it implies that I am sailing, someone is influenced. Do you know that 2,000 miles away in New York City, someone cancels their passage? They were afraid because war was still a little bit in the air. And we came out on a ship where someone 2,000 miles away was afraid to take, so they canceled it. So I did influence her choice, her decision, and others present who had the advantage of getting it before me, because it was enormous list waiting, and it wasn't given to them. So I influenced the decision of the one who had the power to distribute whatever the ticket was. He justified it by saying, well, after all, there are only 2 beds in the safety room, but the child is so small she could sleep with her mother. And therefore, we could get 3 in instead of simply 2. So that's how they justified it. And so we came back with thousands waiting who preceded us in applying for that passage. So don't think in terms of influencing anyone in this world. Leave them alone. Don't influence your boss. Forget it. He could die tonight. Do you know that? He could drop dead right now. So what? Doesn't matter. Don't influence anyone. Don't think of it. Think only in terms of clarity of form. The minute you draw a line, you are encompassing energy. Anything in this world without an outline means nothing. Well, now you just draw your outline and get all in it as much as you can, but get a clear picture. I'm giving a party tonight. I am sitting at my table. My friends are present. One has been promoted, and this is in his honor. As we sit down, I raise my glass to toast him and tell all of my friends he is now promoted to a certain point. That would imply greater responsibility, more money, and I am toasted. Stick to that and don't really care who is influenced to bring it to pass. Forget all influence. The minute you think in terms of influence, you're taking this most fantastic miracle in the world and perverting it, bringing it down to so-called magic. Working against this, working against that, and I'm going to work against this one because she's working black magic, and doing this because he doesn't want me. All that is nonsense. Forget all the people in the world. The whole vast world is yourself pushed out. So forget everyone in this world. Not one person in this world has any power to hold you back or to promote you. You are self-promoted or self-held back. Just simply think in terms of clarity, of form. Now listen to these words of Blake. If the spectator could enter into these images. Now listen to these words carefully. Enter into, not observe them. If the spectator could enter into these images in his imagination, approaching them on the fiery chariot of his contemplative thought, if he could make a friend and a companion of any one of these images of wonder, then he would rise from the grave. Then he would meet the Lord in the air. And then he would be happy. If he could only enter into one of these images in his imagination. All right, so I want to be. And let's say in New York. Well, now I can see one of a dozen hotels that I lived in and entered. Now, could I enter into one of these images in my imagination? How would I do it? Approach it on the fiery chariot of my contemplative thought. So I contemplate it. I contemplate it, and then I enter it. Well, how will I know that I am in it? Because physically I am there. I think, when I think I am in it, I think of this place. Well, if I see it as I now see it, I am not in New York City. I must see it as I would see it were I in New York City. Where would it be? 3,000 miles to the west of it. That's where it would be. If I enter into that image in my contemplative thought, I will see every part of the world related to that place that I have entered. So if the spectator could enter into these images in his contemplative thought, so I enter the image, then I will arise from the grave. What grave? This is my grave. I am always here in a grave. When man enters the world of flesh, it's eternal death. So I rise from it, leave it behind me for a moment, and go into that place, and then view the world from it as though it were true. Then I will not only rise from the grave, I will meet my Lord in the air. Who's my Lord? I am. I'll meet my Lord in the air, and I'll be happy. Am I not happy in what I am doing? Well, that's what he's telling. And that is his vision of the last judgment. How man actually does these things. So you and I could actually enter into the state desired. Dwell in that state as though it were true. And may I tell you, no power in this world can stop it. It can't stop it from becoming a fact in the world. You don't influence anyone deliberately, but you influence everyone. As Sir James Jean said, a man on this planet cannot raise a hand without influencing the farthest star in the world. It is this unified force. And so you practice it and you prove it. And you can go from wherever you are to wherever you want to be if you stop trying to influence people to help you. Forget them. They'll have to aid. Not aid in the sense that they're doing you a favor. They've got to do what they do because you've done what you did. You dare to assume that you are, and you name it. And then everyone must play the part, but everyone. Why? Because it's yourself pushed out. I played the part in my friend's dream. Now in this dream of hers, she mentioned another. She said, I was on my way to my friend Marge. I went with Sharon and Jan and others she did mention by name. She said, Sharon, Jan and others, you're all on the way to Marge. Marge had a gold necklace and a gold disc, and on it was carved a golden man. On the way to Marge's house, suddenly Sharon said, I've lost my necklace. She hadn't lost the necklace. She lost the disc on which was carved the golden man. She held the chain in her hand. Then my friend who wrote the letter said, I started to dig to find where she had lost it. Now bear in mind when I told you earlier, when she first had the first dream, children said to her when she found a watch, you have found the treasure. Now she is finding, as she digs, she finds a watch. She finds 2 watches. She finds 3. And there are multiple watches that she is finding. A watch was told her in the beginning by the children. For whenever vision breaks forth into speech, the presence of deity has been established. So the child is the voice of God, telling her that is the symbol of a treasure. You found a treasure. Now she is finding treasure after treasure after treasure. That's what she is finding. What is the treasure? She's finding Christ. It was a gold chain, a gold disc, on which was actually engraved a golden man. God is the wisdom of God. And Christ is defined in Scripture as the wisdom of God. 1 Corinthians 1:24. She is finding the wisdom of God. So all the revelations that came to her, although she could not bring it back to her conscious reasoning mind, when I to her was the teacher revealing it, was simply all within herself. She heard it all. She heard it all. She knows it in the depths of herself, and it's slowly coming to the surface. She knows when I told her which she conjured, well, she conjured me. It's egocentric. That's what a dream is. And so when she conjured me, and I am telling her that my name is Friday, the God of love, I am telling all that I'm telling you now is true. For the God of love cannot lie. That's what I'm telling her. So all that she is hearing, though she hasn't brought it to the surface of her being, it is coming. And she isn't far from the ultimate revelation of the birth from above. She is not. All of this is happening to all who are coming here. So really, what does it matter? The world goes on, and it plays its numberless parts, and it wants more and more of things that vanish. Tonight they're fighting for the presidency. He hasn't yet gone. He isn't dead. Haven't buried him yet. But they're all trying to bury him for the next election. Fighting like mad for something that passes away. Means nothing. Do not lay up treasures on earth, you're told, where thieves will take it, and the moth will corrupt. But lay it up in heaven, where no one can take it from you. Matthew 6:19. The treasures of earth are really loans. Loans that at any moment can be withdrawn. But the treasures of heaven are forever. And she has hung these treasures in the instruction that she feels I gave her. For really, I am in her. She conjured me, and by revealing my name to her, she knew that teacher could only give her truth. For he is the God of love, having been incorporated into the body of love. But it's not Neville the man she knows here. It's the Neville in herself that she conjured and lifted up and revealed to her. For believe it, every dream is egocentric. So if what I tell you is true, when you conjure me, I must be presented to you in the form of revealed truth. And if God is love, and I know it from my personal experience to confirm Scripture, which says God is love, in the first epistle of John 4:8. Well then, when I tell her Friday, I'm telling her. Then when she confirms it, oh yes, that means, oh my darling, the one who was pierced. And when they look upon the one that they pierced, they will weep as one who weeps for an only child. For I am that one who was pierced. And you too, but you don't know it yet. Only one being was pierced, and that one being is Jesus Christ. Well, Jesus Christ is the true identity of everyone. The true identity of every being in the world is Jesus Christ. Well, if he was pierced, and he is the true identity of everyone, and he is within me, well, that I am pierced. So, as Paul says, I have been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ lives in me. Galatians 2:20. And so, the crucifixion is over, for I have been crucified with Christ. But the resurrection is taking place, and each in his own wonderful time. When Benny came home the other night and told me again the story of the child, I can tell you Bill's reaction and thrill, and mine, as we sat there. He said, "Oh, Neville, when I saw those rosy cheeks," well, you know how dark Benny is. Well, he saw these rosy cheeks when he lifted that infant wrapped in swaddling clothes. And those rosy cheeks. Then he used not only one, by many expressions of endearment, he also used, "Oh, my darling." It is that takes place in the heart of man when he brings out of himself the sign of his own birth. So pigment on earth means nothing. The eternal stories are true. I could paint you a word picture of the Father. He's best described in Daniel, but never described in pictures. Not even Blake has painted it. And I so love Blake for all that he's done. That is not the Ancient of Days. It is something entirely different. And David, yes, the great artists have tried to paint David and sculpt David. That's not David. No human could actually form David. He's so beautiful. And he is going to see David. So when Benny sees him, Benny with that dark, dark pigment is going to look right into the eyes of the bluest eyes and the blondest hair and the fairest skin he has ever seen. And that is David. When you look into the face of the Father, he is going to see, if he hasn't already seen, that face. And these skins mean nothing. In my own case, I change every year like a lizard. I go into the sun and get darker and darker and darker. And then winter comes, and all of a sudden I am pale and look miserable. So the same thing. These are only pigments, meaning nothing. But when he sat in that chair, and as we had a couple of martinis, this is before his second, so it was not any interim. And when Benny said, "Oh, never," when I looked upon those rosy cheeks, and I held that babe in my arms, and I embraced it, and he used the words, "My son, my sweetheart, oh, my darling," then it vanished, leaving only a portrait of itself in his hand. You see, you are so unique. The drama, although it's the same drama, it comes differently, like an artist playing the part of Hamlet. No two actors play Hamlet alike. I have seen it a dozen times on Broadway, at least a dozen times, by different artists. And no two played it alike, but it's the same Hamlet. And so we bring forth the child in different manners. His was like an explosion out of his head, like a star. My friend Bob, it came popping out of his head too, but right into his hand as he held the child. So these things happen uniquely because we are unique. No two are alike. So it has to be something different in the same story. And that's how Benny got it. I can only say to Benny, the 6th of March, and I'm all ears waiting, approximately within the area of the 6th of March, when David stands before him, that beautiful David, and calls him Father. He will know it. There's no doubt in his mind as to the relationship. Therefore, he and I are brothers. If he and I walked on this street today, they would think we could not be from the same Father. But they wouldn't know that we are the Father. If we walk through certain areas of prejudice today, they'd say, "What are we doing together?" He could take me to Harlem. And if they would rush him to hurt me, he would protect me. If I take him into other areas, certain restricted areas, they'd rush me to kill me because I brought him in. Yet here the same being came in. There aren't two. We are the Father. Brought forth the same child, and in 5 months he's going to bring forth my son. Therefore he can't bring forth my son unless he is my very being. And this is this fabulous world in which we live. So I ask you tonight to just simply take this wonderful premise, imagining creates reality. Go out and believe it. Don't try to influence anyone in this world. The world reflects what we are doing. Put all of your energies upon clarity of form. All right, if I occupied a certain guest, would that mean that I am now filling a certain position? Occupy that desk. Get it clear in my mind's eye. And as Blake said, if the spectator could enter into this image in his imagination, will enter it. How do I know I'm in it? Just think of the world. And I'll think of the world and see it as I would see it were I in this state. If I am in this state, I would have to see the world in a certain manner. Well, then do it. Now, don't complain after you've done it that originally I imagined it. I will tell you, if you say to me, say, what are you doing now? Remembering and not still imagining. Now let us go into the silence.